Senator Chuck Grassley is back home in Iowa, ranking member Senate Judiciary Committee. Nice to see you, sir. You look good there on a Friday morning in August. Thank you for your time. What should we see?
Thank you. Well, I think considering the fact that this is the first entering of a former president's home for potentially information, whatever they think's wrong, plus the way Hillary Clinton's negotiation and emails were handled, Steele dossier, Carter Page, FISA, you can name a lot of them. There's evidence of the handle one way for Democrats and another thing for Republicans. And I think I've proven some political bias in regard to Hunter Biden and Trump in the FBI. So I think full transparency is what's really called for in this very extraordinary situation.
Yeah, I guess we don't know if we will get that, do we, Senator?
Well, it looks like the judge is willing to give some. How much some is, I don't know. But the more, the better. And the better the public relations of the FBI would be, because I think there's plenty of evidence of political bias. And the people of this country should have extraordinary confidence in the FBI. And that confidence has been shaken, not just because of what happened a couple weeks ago, but because of a history of this sort of thing that's been going on for the last several years, and then even going back to the 1970s and the church reports and all that stuff. We shouldn't have to put up with the FBI having any question about their lack of, in other words, they got to be totally independent, transparent. Transparency brings accountability, and just do everything so there's no question of political bias.
Senator, you're one of those who's quite dubious, and you wrote to the FBI director just recently saying you were looking for some answers about the political bias within the agency. We went back a couple years ago. It's the last poll we can find about how Americans feel about the FBI. It's a Gallup poll. Here's what we found. In 2019, 57% of Americans thought the FBI was doing a good or excellent job. But in 2021, on the right side, that dropped to 44, down 13 points to 44%. Among parties, would you say the FBI is doing an excellent job? Republicans at 26%. That goes to your point, does it not?
Yes, it does, but let me make very, very clear. We got dozens and dozens of FBI agents operating in Iowa and Nebraska out of the Omaha office. We aren't questioning they're doing their work or questioning if they have political bias. We're talking about the upper echelons of the FBI, whether it's Peter Strzok, whether it's, you can name dozens of people. Let me give you the most recent example. I talked about and released information of the political bias of a guy named Thibault, special agent in charge of starting investigations or closing investigation, but not doing the investigation. On fuzzy newspaper reports, he started an investigation on Trump, on evidence of criminality in Hunter Biden. He stopped that investigation. If you go back and look at Thibault's social media, you know he's a highly partisan guy. So what happened when I released that information? Ray moved him out of that position. And Ray immediately had a telephone conversation with me, and prior to that, for 6 months, I'd been trying to talk to Ray on the telephone, and I couldn't get any sort of answer at all. But just as soon as you show evidence, and I got it from whistleblowers within the FBI of political bias, he did take action. Now he needs to give us a concrete program that he's going to erase all political bias in the upper levels of the FBI.
Senator, thank you for your time. It's a big job, but it's an important job. Restoring that faith and confidence in that agency, especially now.